Welcome back to the third episode of the semester here on Plead Your Case. I'm Anthony DiFilippo, not the host for today's episode. We're running things a little bit differently. You only see me for the first segment with Tyler Aaron talking everything Penguins hockey, and then it's Luke Andruscik and our producer, Ethan Spozarski, having something to say about the WWE. And finally, Dean Shazer and Brett Gombita talk everything fantasy football, all here on this episode of Plead Your Case.
Hey there, sports fans. You're watching another episode of Waynesburg University Community Television's only national sports debate show, Plead Your Case. Whether you're a diehard fan or a casual observer, get ready to join us every week as we dive deep into current pressing sports topics. Our panelists dissect every angle, every scenario, and every statistic to influence their fiery takes.
What has he done without Tom Brady?
And spirited arguments.
No, listen, Bowtie. Have you ever played Foursquare? No, you were too old to play Foursquare.
There will be no argument unexplored, and every take will be under review.
After reviewing the play...
Here in the Waynesburg University Communication Department, we believe in heated debates with a touch of friendly competition, which is why we also have a fresh 5 and 5 mini segment that you won't want to miss.
I don't think a pitcher is breaking Cy Young's wins record of 511.
You Google America's team and what do you get? You get the...
So sit back, relax, and get ready for some serious sports chat. It is time to plead your case.
The Pittsburgh Penguins start their season in about 3 weeks, and you have two of the biggest hockey nerds in the communication department to talk about it. I'm Anthony DiFilippo. He's Tyler Aaron to my left, right on your screen. Tyler, there's been some topics in the news. The Pittsburgh Penguins are bringing back Marc Andre Fleury to play an exhibition game. It's pretty crazy, huh?
Oh, absolutely. The Fleur is coming home. 365, 249, 107 record with Pittsburgh. Leads Penguins in all goaltending categories. He's here for a very, very long time, 12 years. 910 career save percentage with Pittsburgh. 691 games. 113 playoff games. Look at it there, 2.65 goals against average in the playoffs, along with a 908 save percentage. 3-time Stanley Cup champion, who was the quarterback pretty much in that 08 Cup run when we lost to Detroit.
Should have won 4, honestly.
Should have won 4, but he got the Vezina win when he was with Vegas, and had that very, very short stint with Chicago. So, but career record 575, 339, 95, 2.6 goals against average, 912 save percentage, and second most wins in NHL history.
When the Pens released their training camp roster yesterday, no, Rob Scuderi wasn't on it. He's not on the team anymore. Marc Andre Fleury was right under the goaltender section, along with a slew of other players. Tyler, any other comments on the Marc Andre Fleury situation? I have one. Tickets for the game, a preseason game against the Columbus Blue Jackets on September 27th, $300 at the cheapest level, basically, for an upper level seat. That's ridiculous. I'll be watching that one on my couch.
Absolutely ridiculous. Yeah. Absolutely ridiculous. Even the Penguins actually did release the other day, a couple days ago, more tickets for more fans to go. Yeah. And it was like $75, but now it's all, the secondary market is exploding.
Maybe if I was a millionaire.
Yeah, maybe if I was, I mean, I love Fleury, don't get me wrong, but I'm broadcasting a Woosen game that day, so I'm not gonna get there. But it's his professional tryout contract is a 2-day contract. He's practicing with the team on the 26th, and then the 27th against Columbus. He's playing 1 period against the Columbus Blue Jackets.
So $300 to watch him play 1 period.
Yeah. So I'm assuming it's going to be the first period. It would be cool, like, if he played the first period and then came in, like, 2 minutes left of the third period. But Fleury did go on to the media. He had an interview where he said that this was all Kyle Dubas's idea. It got brought up to him at the World Tournament during the playoffs when Canada got upset in the tournament. And Fleury had to think about it for a while, and then he came on board with the idea and stuff. But he isn't retiring as a Pittsburgh Penguin. He will be still retiring as a Minnesota Wild because he respects of what the Wild did for him.
I hate to say that's kind of ridiculous, but I really was selfishly hoping that he would actually retire as a Pittsburgh Penguin, but it'll be cool to see the Big Four on the ice one last time. There was another member of the Big Four in the media. Sidney Crosby's agent, Pat Brisson, went on the other day. It was one of the podcasts, the hockey podcasts out there, and said, "We want Sidney to hopefully be in the playoffs every year. We want him hopefully to win another cup or two. Each year the team fails to make the playoffs. It creates a lot of speculation." TA, that's a pretty heavy quote. What are your thoughts?
It's a very, very heavy quote. I'll say that. A very, very heavy quote. But what intrigues me is the response Crosby gave to it, which shows that he's here to stay. He might be here just to end his career. But I understand his take on Crosby should be on playoff hockey.
Oh, yeah.
It would suck if he left, but I'd still respect it, if that makes sense. But this is what Crosby said. He said, quote, "I'm so grateful and thankful that I've had the opportunity to play here as long as I have, and I think anyone who knows me knows what the city means to me and how special it is. I don't take those rumors of some of those things lightly. Like I said, this is where I want to be. It's a special place, and it's something that is hard to put in a soundbite, but it means a lot."
Sidney Crosby's still elite. He's making $8.7 million through next season, not this season. He had 91 points last year, so he's still very clearly an elite player at the NHL level, and it'll be awesome to see him when the Penguins take the ice next Monday against Montreal, if he's in the lineup, but definitely on October 7th when the season opens up against the New York Rangers and his old coach, Mike Sullivan. Well, the Prospect Challenge also happened last week in Buffalo, and the Penguins took it home for the third year in a row. Tyler, what were your overall thoughts about the Prospect Challenge last week?
Well, first off, they all are fast skaters. Not something that we've seen too typically here recently with the Penguins. But this is their third straight year that they've won this Prospect Challenge tournament. They won 2-1 against Boston. Goals, Ville Koivunen, Avery Hayes. Versus Columbus, came back in the third period, still lost in overtime, 5-4 to the Blue Jackets. Avery Hayes, again, 2 goals this game. Tristan Brose with the goal, Atlee Calvert with the goal, and then exploded on offense against Buffalo, where they had to win the game in order to win the Prospects Challenge, which they won that game 6-3. Avery Hayes with another goal. Tristan Brose scored twice. Ben Kindle, first-round pick this past year, also scored 2 goals, and then Quinn Bouchane scored a goal as well.
That's how you say his name now.
Bouchane.
We did figure that out at one point or another. The roster was absolutely star-studded with some of the Pens' best prospects. Some of the omissions from the roster due to injury were Rucker McGroarty and Bill Zonin. Unfortunately, Will Horkoff also did not play because he's still at Michigan in the NCAA. Some of my standouts from that tournament were Avery Hayes. Obviously, he scored the 4 goals in 3 games. He looked dangerous on literally every single shift. Tristan Brose looked amazing. I mean, those are 2 players that you expect to look good because they've both been in the system for so long. Ben Kindle, his first real test, I guess, against some of the prospects from other teams. I thought he looked good. I thought his hockey IQ really showed off in that tournament. Ville Koivunen looked good. Owen Pickering had a lead pass to Avery Hayes on that final goal, the game-winning goal in the first game of the tournament against Boston. So I thought he looked fantastic. And you got to mention the goalies a little bit. Sergei Murashov also looked pretty decent in goal for all things considered. Tyler, your standouts?
Yeah, my standouts, I got Avery Hayes. I mean, come on. Undrafted free agent too. Undrafted. He looks like he can make the NHL team right here, right now. Tristan Brose, smart player, quick hands. I think he needs to clean up a little bit, like of his forechecking and stuff. Maybe some more discipline. But he reminds me of a young Mike Zigomanis when he's out there. Quinn Bouchane, another one. He is going back to the juniors. He was the 5th-round pick in this year's draft. He's going back to his junior team, the Gulf Storm. And then Cale Dock, 7th-round pick. He played on the top line with Avery Hayes and Ben Kindle. Very good IQ-wise. He's very good and very noticeable with the puck and everything.
Well, Tyler, while we still have you here, any final thoughts on the Pittsburgh Penguins? And we'll obviously talk at great length in our season preview here on Plead Your Case. But anything else from that Prospect Challenge?
Yeah, I have a couple people who struggled. I'll just read them off really quickly.
Excuse me.
Harrison Brunick, Ryan Miller, Travis Hayes. But, they're all still very young, a lot to learn. Sergei Murashov just a couple tweaks away from going NHL ready.
Yep.
And then Gabriel Dag still has a couple things to work on. But I'm excited. This is like my Stanley Cup, especially with the Penguins being in a rebuild phase now.
Right.
Where, we get to see all these young guys on the team. So I'm very excited for training camp and then preseason hockey.
It was the first look at a Dan Muse Pittsburgh Penguins team, kind of, because Kurt McDonald, the AHL coach, was behind the bench, but you still got to look at some of the prospects that he's going to be working with this year. The Pittsburgh Penguins dropped the puck on October 7th, once again, against the New York Rangers. For Anthony DiFilippo and Tyler Aaron, that'll do it for this segment. When we come back, Ethan Spozarski and Luke Andruscik have something to say about the WWE.
Oh, I didn't see you there. I'm Mia Hinkins, and welcome to Buell Hall, home of Waynesburg University's Department of Communication. If you visit our campus, you'll have the opportunity to attend some comm classes, enjoy lunch with our students, and watch us in action. We hope to see you here soon at Waynesburg University.
To schedule your personal visit, go to waynesburg.edu/admissions/schedule-visit. Come grow with us at Waynesburg University.
What's up, WWE fans? Yeet, I'm Ethan Spozarski.
And I'm Luke Andruscik.
Yeah. And here we're about to talk to you about Wrestlepalooza coming up, WWE's new premier event in Indianapolis, Indiana. But it can only exclusively be streamed on ESPN right now in their new app, which overall I think we all agree, not a fan of.
No one's a fan. They've been giving us every match we could ever want to watch under the WWE umbrella for $9.99 under WWE Network, and then for the past couple of years under Peacock. And now you're making us pay $30 for a PLE called Wrestlepalooza. Are you kidding me, ESPN? Are you kidding me, WWE? What are we doing, guys? Go back to the old ways. Go back to Peacock.
It's easy access overall, but we're going to now talk about and focus on the 5 matches coming up under this umbrella as well. But I think the biggest match tonight is going to be the biggest title match with Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre fighting for that undisputed WWE Championship. Cody Rhodes has won back the title from John Cena at SummerSlam. However, it's been out of action ever since Drew McIntyre Claymore kicked him through an announce table.
I have a feeling this is going to be a bloody match. As you mentioned, Claymore kick through the announce table, but I do not see Cody Rhodes losing this title yet. I think Randy Orton might be there to help and play spoiler to Drew McIntyre. They have unfinished business.
Exactly. There's been a lot going on there. I'll take Rhodes as well. I think his title reign's been too short, and he hasn't done too much on TV yet. I don't think they're going to make any switch just yet, but I do like that Randy Orton interference. I know a lot of fans would love that as well. We're moving on, though, for the biggest match overall, I think, mixed tag team match between CM Punk and the newly returned AJ Lee versus Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch. Right now, I think Punk and Lee are so over. They look really good right now. They've been doing a lot of talking back and forth. I see this going in the favor of Punk and Lee. I could understand, though, if Becky and Seth try to play a little dirty during the match, though.
I see no possible way that CM Punk and AJ Lee come out on top, and I'm even going to predict the finish. AJ Lee with whatever her spider submission move is, where she has them all wrapped up. What Logan Paul kind of does now. AJ Lee and CM Punk will be on top.
I mean, hey, we might see AJ Styles and, Mr. Americano, the drink himself. But now shifting over to the farewell tour, John Cena and Brock Lesnar due for one more match overall. Brock Lesnar surprisingly returned at SummerSlam at the very end when John Cena is making his farewell exit with an illustrious crowd giving him the cheers. But overall, I think Brock Lesnar is going to take it. He's appeared twice since SummerSlam. He's delivered monstrous F5 to John Cena. John Cena has lost on this farewell tour before. I don't see why it changes. I think Brock Lesnar is just too dominant.
I think we're going to agree here again for the third straight match. Brock Lesnar is just going to take this match. I don't think Cena is ready to fight this new beast, Brock Lesnar, who is back after 2 years on the shelf. And he's back. He's the beast incarnate. No one beats the beast incarnate.
No, he's been so spectacular. He's just such an entertaining man to watch. But now going back over to the women's division, the Women's World Championship match, Io Sky and Stephanie Valkyrie These two hot young superstars right now, really rising in the ranks, creating a lot of animosity into the crowd. I'm going to take Vakir. I don't think she wins dirty, but I do think there'll be some sort of interference, unintentional interference, potentially even from Rhea Ripley over to Io Sky.
Yeah, undoubtedly, these are my two favorite women wrestlers on the roster. Io Sky has been doing it for years now, since returning at SummerSlam about 3 years ago. Stephanie Vaquer, very new. She has just been recently elevated to the main roster, as in the past 4 or 5 months, and she's getting her first women's title opportunity. I believe it's her first, maybe her second, but I believe she's going to win. Clean. I think they're going to give her that big push, and she's going to be the new champion clean.
Especially with that representation over NXT, you can't not go with it. But for the final match of the night, and one I'm really excited for in aspect of finishers, we got the Usos. They're back for one of their first matches since splitting up, Yeet, and moving over to take on Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed there with the Vision. I think this match is going to be the most exciting match of the night because of the finishers that these four men just put on display, between super kicks, spears, tsunamis, you name it. It's going to happen. I'm expecting tables, ladders, chairs, all of it. I am going to take the Usos to win this match. However, there's going to be some animosity with it. I think that Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, like they did to Roman Reigns, are going to play dirty after an attack, potentially even forcing Jey Uso to kind of become a villain here.
Yeah, we finally disagree here. Not on the Jey Uso villain arc, but on the winner of this match. I think Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed are going to come out on top, with LA Knight distracting Jey Uso in some way. They have sort of a beef going on in the past couple of weeks. And I've also seen rumors online, maybe a Jey revenge turn on Jimmy for what happened against Roman Reigns at SummerSlam in 2023. He's never forgot about it. Maybe something's going to trigger in his mind where he just, like he did to LA Knight, he speared him after Raw. He's going to super kick Jimmy, and then maybe that feud happens again.
Yeah, give it a shot. I mean, it didn't end the way everyone wanted to with the brotherly feud, but I think there are a lot of open storylines there that could just really be interesting for the crowd.
Yeah, that's going to be it for us here on the Wrestlepalooza segment. Don't go anywhere. Brett Gombita and Dean Shazer will be talking about why fantasy football may be ruining your Sunday NFL watching experience.
Fantasy football. Has it changed how people watch football on Sundays? Red Zone exists, so does CBS. Is it your local, or is it Red Zone? Brett, now I know you wrote an article, an opinionated essay, on how fantasy football changed the game day experience for NFL viewers. How's that so?
It changes people's rooting interests. You have people from Cleveland, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh rooting for Lamar Jackson, all because of fantasy football.
Yeah.
He's the QB1. He's going to win you your money. You want him to win your league, or have a shot at winning your league at least. And that's what fantasy football does. It changes those rooting interests of those fans.
And you know what he's not? He's not the NFL MVP. Unfortunately for them, the Baltimore Ravens and everything Baltimore side, it's Josh Allen. Josh Allen from the Buffalo Bills. We're talking fantasy football and how it changes the game day experience. Now, last week, I'm in the North Shore, the North Shore's in Pittsburgh, right outside of Old Heinz Field, now Acrisure Stadium. I don't have a single bit of connection until I leave the Riverside. Apparently, Derrick Henry had 11 carries for 23 yards. That was my first round pick. It absolutely changes the viewing for game day experience, because I myself would never root for Derrick Henry to have 3 carries and 3 touchdowns and 200 yards against the Pittsburgh Steelers on any given Sunday. I still want the Steelers to win. Granted, me being from Pittsburgh and being a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, Is that a problem, Brett? Is that a problem with you?
This isn't a problem, but when you compare fantasy football to other sports, fantasy football is really the only one that's like this because no one's getting upset over fantasy basketball, fantasy hockey. At least we don't see it if there are because there's so many more games. In the NFL, you only have a 17-game season opposed to these other 82-game seasons where it's like one bad game isn't going to hurt you.
Now we're talking about rookie draft classes. How do I phrase this? Watching the NFL draft, especially day 2, is usually when people stop watching after the 3rd round, halfway through day 2. Has it changed how you watch the draft and how you look at where guys get drafted, at what round at all, in any way?
You watch film, and it's crazy because Bucky Irving a few seasons ago, so me on my dynasty team, I have Rachaad White, and I really was just looking for Bucky to be that guy that got in case Rachaad would ever go down with an injury, but in his rookie season, he completely overtook Rachaad White as that lead back. And that's just, I would have never expected it, but I was prepared because of how I watched the draft.
Guys like Elijah Arroyo and Harold Fannin Jr., these tight ends out of Bowling Green and whatnot, where you have it. Elijah Arroyo being a guy who I drafted in my dynasty league. For fantasy, you got dynasty leagues. It's where you act as if you're the owner of the team. You're the manager. I'm the Omar Khan. For keeper leagues, you keep one guy. Is it the Matt Ryans? Is it the Drew Breeses? Is it the Big Bens that you want to keep for the next 15 years of your fantasy career to have that solidified quarterback one? Or is it just your regular fantasy?
Dynasty's where it's at. It's
absolutely.
It's more competitive. That's where you send more trade offers because you have picks involved as well, and it's just the overall engagement. If you're in a good dynasty league, that's hard to beat. That's a feeling that's hard to beat.
Now, fantasy football changes how every single viewer watches the NFL. My Aunt Stace drafted Cedric Tillman, 3rd round, out of the Cleveland Browns. Yeah, she's also from Pittsburgh. The Cleveland Browns, Cedric Tillman. Are you kidding me? What are we doing? But he's a sleeper, and that's what we look for. We look for sleepers, we look for good picks, and we look for people to stay engaged. Isn't that what football wants? Isn't that what Goodell wants? Doesn't he want fans to watch Red Zone? Doesn't he want fans to be engaged through every single 9:30 slate if it's in Germany, Munich, Germany, or if it's in Brazil, like we just had a few weeks ago, 9:30 to 11 p.m. That's when he wants his fans to stay engaged. Does it help him?
Yeah, you're exactly right. It completely helps. And even in the aspect of, we touched on it earlier, maybe I'm showing up to Acrisure Stadium, hypothetical example, wearing a Trevor Lawrence jersey.
This happened.
Yeah, but maybe I'm showing up wearing a Trevor Lawrence jersey, rooting for him to throw some touchdowns against the hometown Steelers. It happens, and it's when money's involved, that's what people do. They'll do anything. If they can win any sort of money from their fantasy league, they're going to root for their fantasy team, even if it's against their actual guy.
Now, the one thing about fantasy league and us being college students, it's not good. It's not good because if we have 2 leagues here, 2 different sides of friend groups. Hey, you want to be in the league? I'm already in 5, but it's only $10. All right, here. But I'm already in a $100 league. And what about my $25 league? So now I'm down, how many tanks of gas? 3.5 tanks of gas right there off of just joining fantasy football leagues.
You're not a free league guy?
Free league? Do you know me?
I mean, I'm in a couple free leagues, and I use them to practice drafting, really. That's my – I go into a free league, it makes me realize what my outlook should be for my actual paid leagues.
The thing about the love I have for fantasy football is it does help me engage with the draft class. Like Marion Hampton, we knew the Chargers needed a running back because J.K. Dobbins went to Denver, and Najee Harris ended up getting signed in free agency. But Marion Hampton, now first-round pick, second-round draft guy, but not even a top 25 back in the league because he's not solidified.
Can we talk about his performance last night? Our producer back there, Ethan Spozarski, had a 80% chance to win against me.
Let's hear it.
Going into Sunday Night Football, he had an 80% chance to win against me. TJ Hawkinson puts up 1 catch. Marion Hampton doesn't touch the ball until there's a minute left in the first quarter, and it's a negative 3-yard gain. I had the Chargers defense as my only player left. They put up 14, and I won by 20 when I had a less than 20% chance.
What did Hawkinson and Hampton end up putting up?
1 catch for 12 yards for Hawkinson, and Hampton ended up with about 3.5.
Well, hey, you lost to a defense. That's our producer. You lost to the Chargers defense. That's pathetic. It's embarrassing. Anyway, talking about family rivalries, division rivalries. How about me and my grandma? You wanna make me mad at my grandmother? Put her up against me in fantasy. I won't talk to her for the next 3 months. See you in the Super Bowl, Grandma. Mama, I shouldn't disrespect her. But she hates being called Grandma. But has any rivalries developed within you and people you know through fantasy football?
Yeah, there's definitely been a few, and that just shows the competitive nature of it. I'm a very competitive person. Some of the guys in my league are very competitive. There's been guys that I've seen in the playoffs back-to-back years, and sometimes they've got the best of me, and it left a sour taste in my mouth. But that's the way it goes, really, and that just speaks to the competitive nature of fantasy football.
I believe the group chat rivalries and the group chat chitter-chatter and the group chat smack talk is what keeps me going. That's what fuels me. I want to see a lot of those vulgar terms being thrown at one another because you beat me by 2.1 points because Drake London got a jet sweep handed off to him, -1 yard and a fumble, -2.1. That's how I lose the week. Didn't happen, but it's a hypothetical, right? And I said Drake London because I need him to step up big this year. So from guys like Johnny Unitas all the way down in the 1950s up to guys now like who knows if Akello Witherspoon is going to be put out at the slot receiver. He won't get you any fantasy points because he's a defensive back. So what's your overall take on why fantasy football is either good or not good for the game?
It grows the game. It brings more people to the TV screen. Even if it's a 9:30 a.m. London game, those people are going to be there rooting for their flex to score 12 points, and that's just the nature of it. That's the bottom line.
Well, that's the bottom line, Stone. That's because Stone Cold said so. And as we just talked about in the WWE segment with Luke Andruscik and Ethan Spozarski, I think that's about all that wraps up our fantasy football segment here, Brett. So, for myself, Dean Shazer, and Brett Gombita, do you have any final thoughts?
No thoughts.
No thoughts. We need points. Fantasy football it is. We'll see you on the next segment of Plead Your Case. As I said, Dean Shazer and Brett Gombita out.